Welcome back to another video. My name is Michael. I'm the founder of Buffalo Performance and Analysis, where we combine sports science, strength and conditioning, and sports performance to give coaches the tools necessary to build the next level of elite athletes. In this video, we're going over the next step in our data analysis process, which is data manipulation. So data manipulation is a way that we can prepare our data to answer the questions that we set out at the very beginning of our data analysis process. So a lot of the steps are going to be similar to our data cleaning steps, but data manipulation goes into changing the data variables, the data types, to really make the data more understandable and easier for our next step, which is going to be to describe and summarize the data. So to start, we can utilize the glimpse function to get a look at the data frame, and we see that there's not a lot of use of best practices. When we look at this column name, opposition on debutantes, ideally, we would have an underscore in between opposition and debutantes. That just makes it a little bit easier to read. So what we can do is we can utilize the rename function, and we can call the new name of the column and then what the old name of the column currently is. And then we can utilize the glimpse function again. And when we run that, we see that we have those two examples now have underscores to make it a little bit easier to read. Additionally, we can recode or rename variables within a column. So if we look into our column of opposition name, we see that there's Pacific space is, and then there's South space Africa. Pacific is obviously Pacific Island or Pacific Islander. What we want to do is we want to recode this so that it follows those same best practices. So what we're going to utilize is the mutate function. We're going to call on the opposition name, which is the column name. Then we want to recode it. So we want to write over the existing code what the current name is and then what we want to replace it with. And so when we run these two lines of code, we're running it for the Pacific Island and for South Africa. When we run it, now we see that we have South underscore Africa. If we wanted to do analysis on South Africa, it makes it a lot easier to call on South Africa when there's that underscore as opposed to a space. Another function we can utilize for data manipulation is the arrange function. Arrange normally sorts our data utilizing ascending order. So when we call on the result column, we will see the smallest result, which is -17, and then it will progressively get larger. We can also call on the descending arrange using DESC for descending, and we'll get the most recent date, and then it will sort it by the oldest date. Next, in our data manipulation process, we can learn about recoding or changing variable types. Changing variable types is important to better store and reorder data for further analysis. We can utilize either the glimpse or the class function to see what kind of variable type the data is. Utilizing the glimpse function will return the entire data frame, versus the class function we can call on just one variable. When we do that, we see that the opposition name is stored as a character. We can utilize the as factor function to change the variable type to a factor. So changing it to a factor is going to make it easier for us to do further analysis if we want to do any on the opposition name. Using the mutate function as well as the if-else function, we can use conditional formatting within our data frame. So here I've utilized the mutate function, and we're going to create a new column called one win. We're going to call another loss, and we'll call the third tie. So we use the if-else function where for the win column, if the result is greater than 0, it's going to return a 1, otherwise it's going to return a 0. In the loss column, if the result is less than 0, it'll return a 1, otherwise it'll return a 0. And for the tie column, if the result is equal to 0, it will return a 1, otherwise it will return a 0. When we run these lines of code and we view the data frame, we see that when the result is a positive value, there is a 1 in the win column. If the value is negative, we have a 1 in the loss column. And if we go ahead and look at where the result is 0 when the game is a tie, we see that there is a 1 in the tie column. So this is useful when we want to look at analysis of how many wins, losses, and ties, and do a little more research and digging on that. Lastly, like in our data cleaning video, we can utilize select and filter to look at subsets of the data where there are certain conditions that are met. So here we're looking at where the All Blacks lost, but where their rating was higher than the opposition's rating. So in other words, where they lost when they weren't expected to have lost. So this is just another way we can manipulate the data to look at it and do further analysis on these certain subsets of data. In our next video, we're going to be going over how we can describe and summarize our data in R, and I hope you stay tuned for that video.